It's super volatile. It's super crazy. It's super manipulated. It is just wild swings, and you can't. There's no order.
What's shaking? Welcome back to All In. I'm your host, Rick Jordan. Before we start today, you're going to want to share this out with at least 3 people. I'm asking you to. Can we get your help to share this out with 3 people? Today, we're going to talk about crypto. It's obviously super hot, and everybody wants to know about this, but that's the only way we grow is by your help, because we don't take sponsors. We don't run ads for the show. We need your help to continue to touch and impact more and more people. Yes, because now I've got the founder and CEO of the Crypto Curry Club, which has 4,000 active members. It's the UK's #1 rated networking and educational events for crypto, blockchain. You know all this. We're going to talk about some amazing books that she's written too, because Erica Standford is on the show. Welcome, Erica.
Hey, Rick, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being on. This is obviously a huge thing, and I know from the time we record to the time we publish is probably going to be about 2 months or so. But I just found out, no joke, like 2 nights ago, I was talking to a friend of mine, and he brought up the Shiba Inu coin. Right? And he's like, are you going to get this thing? I'm like, I don't know. He's like, I'm thinking about putting $500 into it. And I'm like, yeah, the value is really, really low. Right. And then I had my account, my bank account somehow disconnected. This happens from time to time from Coinbase, which is one of the exchanges that I purchase crypto on and trade crypto. And I couldn't reestablish it, so I had to go through like the manual process, and I'm waiting. And freaking 2 hours after our conversation is when Elon Musk decides to tweet about the freaking coin. Like dude, this was just 2 nights ago. Like, son of a bitch. And then it raises by, what was it, like 65% or something like that, and just overnight. I mean, it dropped out a little bit, so now it's trading 35-40% higher from where it was. But it's crazy how volatile this marketplace is, isn't it?
It's super volatile. It's super crazy. It's super manipulated. It is just wild swings, and you can't. There's no order to it. I know people that invest in traditional shares, and it's very well researched, and they look up and they track companies, and it all seems to follow a logical path. And in crypto, anytime you think something logical will happen, the opposite happens.
Something like, there is no logic, is there, with crypto?
There's no logic. There's no order.
No, well, exactly. A lot of it, to me, I know how you said it's so manipulated, and I would love to unpack that today too. And I want to talk about a lot of cool things, because you've got some cool books out there too, right? Crypto Wars, Fake Deaths, Missing Billions, and Industry Disruption. We're going to talk about a lot of this today, but let's dive into the manipulation part of this here, because it seems like, just like my example, right? A tweet from one of the most influential people in the entire world, Elon Musk, goes a long way with anything crypto. He's been doing this for like the past year and a half, and it's been a little crazy to watch.
Oh, the guy's smart.
Of course he is. Yes.
Yeah, there's a lot of in crypto. I mean, a lot of people in the crypto space would accuse him of full-on market manipulation. I mean, Elon is smart. Everything he tweets is valid. Yeah. So he's very well protected on that point. But like you say, he's got so many followers. It moves entire markets. So you've got some of the sort of the more overt one tweet by celebrity or influencer will totally and utterly sway crypto markets. But then you've got a lot of more sort of subtle manipulation as well. And, everything from, orchestrated official pump and dump groups where people join these sort of closed groups on social media platforms, or, even pay membership to see which coin they should buy and, when they should buy it. And then they pump it up and it goes up crazy. And then, it all starts to drop. And, there's these organized groups for that, and in any other market or space it just wouldn't go. It would just be seen as total market manipulation. But in crypto they just seem to sort of get away with it and promote themselves quite publicly, it seems. and you've got some that operate on the dark web where they take people's Bitcoin and use that to sort of do joint pump and dumps. And then you've got influencers and celebrities and people that, some who don't necessarily know what they're doing. They just take money to promote certain crypto projects, and then all of their followers buy up and it pushes the project up, and then a week later they say, oh, sorry, I didn't realize it was a scam, or sorry, I didn't mean for people to lose money when it crashed. And others just build up crazy big followings just saying about the next crypto project, and you'll get rich, and this is a great amazing project, and say why it's all so good. And what they just forget to share is the fact that they bought the project when it was just worth nothing. And then all of their followers believe them and buy it up, and then they look good. And people think they're right because it's going up in price, and they don't realize that it's their followers, it's their influence and their followers that are pushing the price up. And then the whole time the influencer is selling out on their followers, and then the followers are left with the bags and end up losing all the money. And that's happened so many times in the space.
No doubt. That's I love how you're describing the manipulation here. And, even if it is a marketplace, just like anything else, just like traditional stocks are, or mutual funds. And that's what I'm sure a lot of countries are freaking out about, too, because I remember, if we continue on Elon Musk just a little bit here, an analogous example was when he tweeted around Tesla and said that he had, I don't know if you remember this, that he had the capital to take Tesla private again. Meaning take the public shares that are floating on the market off the markets, and then just he got slapped on the hand by the SEC pretty hard when that happened, because it was the same principle, trying to manipulate the markets. But then he realized that he couldn't go that far. But how do you feel that is? Because there's probably regulation coming up. We see China continuously clamping down. Well, what does this look like worldwide?
There is regulation coming up. Especially in the last few years, and sort of the whole ICO, initial coin offering era, where you had thousands and thousands of cryptocurrencies being created out of thin air. It was basically treated as the Wild West, and I think the majority of people that were sort of launching a lot of these projects just didn't know that there might even be regulation one day creeping in. And now, you've got a lot more legitimate projects. You've got a lot more that are sort of trying to comply with regulation. And regulation can't keep up. I think it's a practicality, partly because, at least in the UK, we've had Brexit, we've had coronavirus, we've had lockdown. There's a few practicalities that have meant less resources for minor aspects like crypto. But, the tech is moving so fast, and crypto and the space is moving so fast, right? Regulation isn't keeping up, but it will creep in. And you've still got some of the scams and some of the wild side of it, but I think that's starting to get tamed now slowly. But there's been some crazy stories, just because with crypto there's still been so much hype. You had all this time when you just add the word blockchain to something, or add the word crypto, or add the word DeFi, and it was just going up like crazy. We've seen it now with NFTs. You've got digital commerce selling for like $3 million or whatever, and it's massive money going into this. And you say that with Elon Musk, but it wasn't that long ago, only a couple of years ago. It was, I think the famous example, it was the Long Island iced tea company, I believe. Double check this. I think it was the Long Island iced tea company that changed their name to the Long Island Blockchain Company. And the share price went up like 400% or something, just, overnight. And then, they got slapped on the wrist again by the regulators just for manipulation. But just an example of just how crazy the markets got and have been.
Yeah, everything's driven by emotion, isn't it? Especially FOMO, which is, fear of missing out. And you see that in the crypto market. You see that in anything that's new right now. I'm seeing this too, and I'm by no means an expert. That's why you're on the show, right? Because you're the expert in this. I like it. But I haven't seen very many ICOs in a while, and I start to look at, like, even when it was like the Shiba Inu coin, like I was talking with my friend the other day, I'm like, why can't I just have a coin? I think I'm going to put out a coin of me or something like that, or do like an NFT. But you're right, because I see these things like the digital commas, and Gary Vee is obviously a big promoter too, but he's another example of the influencers in this space, in the blockchain space, that are pushing these things. And even though I feel that his intentions are good, let's be real, right? He's out to make money. He's an awesome dude. Right. He's out to make money.
And he gets in early, and he'll be being paid for it, or he'll be earning. So he's not the one that's risking the money by buying the NFTs or whatever it is at overinflated prices.
I saw him walking through like an NFT physical display at one point, and these were the NFTs were printed on canvas, and I was looking at these things, and I was like, what in the world? I'm like, that's the things he was looking at. He's like, oh, these are so cool. I'm like, that's the ugliest art I've ever seen in my life. It's so disgusting. This isn't something I would hang in my house.
Yeah, there's been crazy amounts of hype around the space, but it's those things that there's crazy amounts of hype, and you say about the ICOs, there was a time, mostly sort of 2016 to 2018, when it was just super fashionable, and people didn't realize there was going to be regulation, and it was really easy to create your own coin. It's open source code, and you had all these experts just popping up on all the freelancer sites, so you could literally just go on Fiverr.com or any of those freelancer sites and pay some newfound ICO expert to copy a bit of an ICO of the Ethereum or whatever code you wanted to use, and you could create Rick coin and decide how many coins you wanted, and you'd pay a freelancer $5 or whatever to create your logo and your website. And then you pay a listing platform to list Rick coin, and you can sell however many Rick coins you want for however much money. And as long as you paid somebody to either write a good enough white paper, or some of them just copied someone else's white paper and changed a few words, or didn't bother with anything at all, and create a website with a few cartoons of who was supposedly in your team, or make up some names of who supposedly is in your team. I mean, it was just utter nonsense, that the majority of them based on nothing, no business plan. There was no way any of them would have made money had they gone to a bank for a loan, or gone to VCs for a loan, or even gone to friends and families for a loan. But it was just a total hype cycle. And now it's thought that 98% of all of the ICOs either were scams or failed or lost money, or didn't work for whatever reason, and people lost money. But that saying, there's so much we owe to that space. There's so much innovation coming out of it, so much excitement, so many ideas. So albeit 98% haven't done well, for various reasons, everything from they were outright scams from the start through to just bad luck or incompetence or whatever. But you've got 2% that have done well. And the 2% that have done well, in some cases, have done phenomenally well for their investors, and have totally changed how we look at finance, and totally changed how we look at storing money or security or sending money or lending or investment. So, the ones that have done well are totally changing how the world is now starting to look at things, and are bringing so much innovation. And it's, for all the sort of the negativity in that space, it's still an incredibly fast moving space, where you're getting like some of the smartest people leaving really well paying jobs and like really good positions in traditional companies, and leaving all of the security and all of the money for jobs in these crypto and DeFi and NFT or whatever startups, because they're so excited by it, and because it's moving so fast, and it's just moving so fast, and there's so much good things and so much excitement happening in the space. I can't be negative about it, and I've probably seen more of the scam side of it than probably most people, just from researching for the Crypto Wars book and everything. But it's still overwhelmingly exciting.
Yeah, for sure. I was going to ask you what excites you so much about the space, but I think you just gave us literally everything, because it sounds like what really drives you is that 2%, right? The innovative 2%. Right.
Yeah, and there's so much happening, and it's changing so fast. And the other side is you meet some of the most incredible people working in crypto, and it's people that are choosing to work in the space, who are excited by it, who often don't need the money. They're just really excited by it. And you've got some of the most amazing projects, from everything through to changing payments for the bank, through to animal charities looking at how to raise money, through to some of the biggest sports brands or biggest retailers just totally changing how they interact with people. So you've sort of got every industry and every angle now looking at the space and looking at how they can use things like crypto for incentive payments, or crypto for rewards payments, or to improve the UX, or NFTs to improve their brand, or to change engagement with customers. So there's so much happening.
It's amazing. Yeah, it's interesting to watch the space. And yet still, I know that we're at the beginning, and I don't even feel, this is just like a hunch, a gut feeling, right? Is that I don't even think that crypto is the biggest thing to hit the blockchain space at all. To me, it's almost like it's really just the beginning of things, because there's so many applications for blockchain outside of currency that are going to exist at some point in the future. I mean, medical records, anything, but it's awesome as far as how crypto has now accelerated that technology to a place to where it's really mainstream now. But still, there's so many, I feel too, that don't even understand what blockchain is, and what the function of it is.
Right. I mean, you're totally on it. Like, Bitcoin first came about 12 years ago. It's basically brand new, and it's evolving so fast. And people say, oh, there's this problem with blockchain, or there's that problem with Bitcoin, and it's changing so fast. It's developing so fast. And you're right. The majority of people don't know what it is and aren't using it. But it's one of those things. Like, say if you look in London, most people now will have heard of crypto, and large percentages will at least have bought some or been looking at it. But it's not London where it's really sort of needed. You've got places that the biggest users of crypto, places like Venezuela, Ukraine, Russia, places in Africa where high percentages of people use Bitcoin every day, not because they think it's super cool, not because they think it's a really good thing to invest in, but because traditional economies or traditional finance system or currencies have failed in a lot of places in the world, or there's hyperinflation, or people don't trust banks, don't trust governments. So they see it as literally the only way to store money safely, or the only way to get money to family members abroad because of sanctions, or because their currencies have just gone to hyperinflation. So it's incredible how many people are actively using crypto already. And that's growing. And the user experience, which has been the main thing to sort of hold back adoption of crypto and even adoption of blockchain, that's changing really, really quickly. And you've got, everyone's aware of Facebook sort of actively trying to get into the space. And it almost feels like it's a rush against time. The first one, be that Facebook, or be that some other brand, or be that some other startup that comes up with the crypto wallet with the best user experience, it's just going to take off.
It sure is. It's exciting to watch it too. And you're a Crypto Curry Club, right? You've had, is this right, over 240 live events so far?
I have absolutely no idea.
That's the number that I have in front of me. And I was like, holy moly.
I don't know. We did a bunch of in-person events before lockdown. And then since lockdown, we did a bunch of virtual events. And now slowly, the world is reopening.
Yeah, no kidding. But let's just say that it's been a lot of events, right? Is that?
It's been a lot of events.
Okay. I don't know the number, but it's okay. You continuously gain members, I'm sure, in this, and what's the biggest takeaways from your members from these events too? Why do they come to the events? What do they learn so much? And how do you see them start to accelerate themselves?
Yeah, that's what's amazing is getting to know the people in the space, and we've got everything from some of the biggest brands in the world. Everything from internet browsers, social media platforms, retail brands, food and drink brands that that everybody is familiar with. Sending people, or payment platforms, or payment providers, or processors, or banks coming along to either to learn about the space, or to keep an ear on the ground, or to find out what the startups are up to, and to sort of not get behind, and to see what everyone else is doing. So there's a lot of people and companies coming along to just keep an eye on how fast things are going, and to meet with some of the startups and some of the innovators in the space, through to students who are doing dissertations and doing masters and programs studying things like the cultural adoption of Bitcoin or use cases of blockchain. So you've got everything from students through to universities, through to academics, through to VCs and investors and funds. And, for them, they're looking at finding the next hot startups, through to startups looking at partners and so forth. So you've got the whole incredible ecosystem from sort of the tiniest little startup but some of them move super, super fast through to the biggest funds. And, what's been amazing is some of the, what was a couple years ago, it was a little startup. They're now big company making big partnerships and evolving really, really fast. So
that's awesome.
There's people have all sorts of different reasons, be that business, be that learning, keeping an ear on the ground, just finding out what the latest is, or, some of them just come to debate what's happening with.
That's got to be interesting to be a fly on the wall with that. You mentioned partnerships too. And I know this is something you talk about, which is this is an area of crypto that I'm not educated in at all, is multi-level marketing scams, MLMs in crypto. Right. What? MLMs in crypto?
Yeah. Massive, absolutely massive. I mean, I'm skeptical / cynical / negative about multi-level marketing, like full stop, like totally.
Well, yeah, in any industry, yes, for sure.
Right. And, I think statistically 98% of people that get involved in multi-level marketing lose money. It's a pyramid scheme. The people who get in early, the people at the top make a load of money, make absolutely crazy amounts of money. And then some do okay. And then the vast majority at the bottom get sucked in and have to pay to get in and lose money. So I'm totally against multi-level marketing. There's enough documentaries if anyone wants to watch them on Netflix or Amazon or whatever. Where you see so many normal people just losing so much time and money to these schemes. And it's pyramid schemes, but where multi-level marketing has got really bad in crypto, because normally multi-level marketing, it's selling a product, they're selling vitamins or they're selling something which keeps it legal. But where multi-level marketing gets bad in crypto, it's basically merges into Ponzi schemes, because they don't sell anything. They basically sell thin air, they sell promises, they sell this concept, we've got Bitcoin mining machines, so send us your Bitcoin and we'll mine Bitcoin for you. Or we've got this amazing new cryptocurrency, send us your Bitcoin, your crypto, and we'll send you these amazing new coins that are going to double in quantity or double in value. Or we've got this amazing trading algorithm or whatever, or this trading bot that's, it's so magical it can outperform every bank and experienced trader and every hedge fund, out there. And they make all of these incredible / unbelievable often claims. And sometimes it's really believable claims. They make all of these claims just to get people to send in their Bitcoin. But, they all sound different at surface value, and they mask it under the guise of, we'll sell you this educational package, or you'll get whatever it is in exchange for your money. But all of them just offer these high commission payouts and these high incentive payouts to get people to send over their Bitcoin. And of course, once they've got people's Bitcoin, that's, for the majority of them, it's buy Bitcoin or buy your money.
Yeah.
But as with any good Ponzi scheme, what's really sad about how big they've got and how much they've taken over, as with the good Ponzi schemes, they pay out at first. So they've got their networks of promoters, and then innocent people get involved and send in their money, and then they get their money back with profits that they think is good. So, and then of course, because they get the high commissions, they go out and tell all their friends and their families. Or you've got religious leaders going out to sell it to their communities or to their followings or congregations, or community leaders going out to sell it. So they spread really, really, really fast. And it's a bit of a grey area, because some people are actually victims and actually think it's good and actually think their friends and families will do well out of it. And, others know that it's a scam and just don't care and just want the commission payouts. But it's a really grey area, so you don't know who to trust. But often people buy into them, not because they're being sold to by the scam, but because their religious leader, their community leader, their friend, their family, whatever, have told them it's a good thing, and they trust them, and it just spreads and spreads and spreads. So you've got people falling them from all around the world, and then also people feeling really bad all around the world, because when they find out that it's a scam and they've lost their money, not only have they lost their own money, they've lost like the money for their friends, their families, their communities, whatever. So that they just spread so big just using these commission structures.
Yeah, for sure. I was thinking, as we were talking about MLM, and you mentioned there, the educational products. I'm like, that's got to be one of the biggest ones. Yeah, right. An info product Ponzi scheme for these MLM scams with crypto, and even amongst family members too, because this is something that has been true that I've noticed my entire life, is that money darkens a lot of hearts.
Right.
When you dive into this, it can, people hold on to money as if it's the be all and end all in life, and you need money to continue to do things. But I've always said too, and this is why one reason I love crypto, because I like to not just look at the market caps. I also very much like to look at the trading volumes, because I love seeing the money move. And the best way to stimulate an economy is the movement of money, not the hoarding of money, but the movement of money. I hope crypto can help us with that as we continue trying to recover from the pandemic too, is just continuing to move money throughout the world economy.
Yeah, and I mean, the good crypto projects, the sort of the genuine ones, are doing exactly that. And then, the problem with the Ponzi schemes is, I mean, one coin, which it's been made popular by the BBC's Missing Crypto Queen podcast series. Popular is not the right word. It's been made infamous by the Missing Crypto Queen podcast series, but it's thought to be the biggest scam in crypto. And it's one of those. At first they thought they'd stolen about $4 billion, and now it's estimated to be up to about $25 billion, and they're still sort of finding victims and still finding people that are selling it. It's crazy one. They never even had a cryptocurrency. It was just a Ponzi scheme, just selling for net. But they were the first one to bring in this concept of multi-level marketing meets crypto / selling educational packages, which were totally and utterly plagiarized and not worth anything. But so many of them have copied that exact model, and you see scam after scam after scam copying that exact model, with no technology, no real cryptocurrency. And it's sad, because you look at crypto, it's absolutely amazing, that the potential of the technology, the potential for speeding up payments, for cheaper payments, for financial inclusion, for getting micro payments out, for micro loans, for micro insurance. There's 1,000,001 super cool, amazing use cases of crypto.
For sure.
And there's so many ways it can help people, it can do good. It's an amazing technology. And then you've got these scams that are just totally detracting sort of from that, and actually aren't using anything to do with the technology. They're nothing to do with rewards at all. It's literally opportunists taking advantage of the space, and they know what they're doing. They're not going after sophisticated investors. They're going after the most vulnerable people.
Yeah.
And they have really big marketing budgets often, so they make themselves look really good. They sound really good. You look at some of the websites of the scams, and you're like, wow, this is really good. And they've got really big social media presences, and they have in-person events. There's everything about them looks good on the surface. You can't blame people for falling for them if you don't know what you're expecting.
Well, that's one of the top rules of marketing, right? You are what you say you are, not maybe what you actually do.
Right.
That's marketing 101 for sure. What are this is obviously a huge passion of yours, and that's why we're talking. What are some of the things that, just one or two things that are the big things to look out for crypto scams, that you can see that's like, here's the big red flags?
I mean, the biggest one is any sign of multi-level marketing. So if there's commission payments, or commission infrastructure at all, if there's any cryptocurrency or any sort of related project that's going to be paying commissions to bringing new people in, that I would say that's a massive, massive, massive red flag. The good crypto projects just don't need to. It doesn't work like that. So I'd say that's a massive red flag. I haven't seen a legitimate project work on that model. So, if there's commission payments, or, if you can see that there's a multi-level marketing structure, run away screaming, pretty much. And the other thing is, you can't trust what projects say by definition. You've got a lot of the scams. They'll have these amazingly good looking websites, and they'll make all of these claims. You see scams saying, well, we're regulated by so-and-so, by such and such governing board or whatever, or such and such regulator. We're partnered with such and such companies, big name companies. We've got such and such companies as big name clients. We've got so-and-so famous people or influencers or whatever on our advisory board. We will issue Visa cards or MasterCards to our users. They make all of these claims, and they put all of these logos on their websites, and say all of these things. So people believe that, and they think, well, if they're issuing MasterCards, or if BMW is their client, or if they're associated with whatever university or regulated by whatever, it must be good. And they're not. They literally make that up out of thin air and put the logos up on their websites. And in time, the real companies in question will find out, and we'll try and get the logos and whatever taken down. But you just can't trust that at face value. So what I would say for any project where you're not sure about, is just do your own research, double check everything. If a project's claiming anything, double check it. Can you see proof of that elsewhere? And the minute you see one thing that doesn't stack up, like, I don't know, they say they've got such and such company as a customer and the other company doesn't say that, or if there's anything against that, or they say such and such person is their advisor and you can reach out to such and such person and they find, they say they've never heard of the project. I'd say if there's any one sort of red flag that doesn't stack up, probably run away screaming, because probably the rest of it is equally fabricated. So, it's sad because they make all of these claims and they make themselves look really, really good. But definitely if there's commission payments, if anyone's paying a commission to try and get you on board,
that's great info. Good to look out for. I appreciate that. Crypto Curry Club. That looks really, really amazing. And everyone can go to cryptocurryclub.com to join, right? Is this worldwide? You can jump on that?
Yeah. Cool. So the events were UK until lockdown. And we'll see what happens when the world reopens. But we've got virtual events. We've got an industry publication, Blockchain Industry Review, that sort of sums up. There's some really cool features and interviews with some of the coolest people in the space. And we have a weekly newsletter, the Crypto Carrier, that sums up things that are happening in the space.
That's awesome. I tell you what, I'm going to sign up for it. Like I said, I wasn't even educated on the MLM stuff that was going on with crypto today. Right. But that's where everyone can go. Erica, you've been amazing. We've only scratched the surface of things here. We could probably talk for hours. But for everyone, find Erica on LinkedIn at Erica Standford, and also cryptocurryclub.com. I'm going to be joining myself. I want that newsletter because this is here to stay. Erica, you're amazing. Amazing. Thank you for being on.
Thank you so much. And anyone that wants to hear more about crypto scams, it's crypto wars, fake dust, missing billions, and industry disruption with all the biggest hacks and scams in crypto.
Boom. Love it. Thanks.
And any books on it. Thank you so much, Rick.